Want consistent sales? I want you to start here with how to build a sales pipeline. Building a sales pipeline doesn't have to be hard. So in today's video, I'm going to break down how to determine the right sales stages for your business. When it comes to building out your sales pipeline, it's first important to have mapped out your completed customer journey. A completed customer journey is going to include a column for your marketing efforts, your sales pipeline efforts, and your fulfillment or the products that you're selling. And then the final stage is going to be any internal processes. Now, within your sales pipeline, you are going to have some crossover from marketing to sales throughout that, because what we're doing with our sales pipeline is we're creating a visual representation of the different stages that somebody goes through from being a lead to becoming a customer. There is a critical question that I always like to ask before I start building out sales pipeline stages. And the reason that I like to ask this question is it helps me understand whether or not a business is what I would call a consultative business versus a direct to purchase sales process. And that question is always, in order to do business with you or take advantage of your business's services, do I need to talk to either you or a member of your team in order to do business with you? A vast majority of businesses, including service businesses or consultative businesses, the answer to that question is almost always going to be yes. Now, I do ask this question based on the product that is being sold. So, if the product being sold is a digital online course, then that lead does not need to talk to a member of my team in order to purchase that. So that would be a direct purchase. If, however, the product is a 2-day CRM implementation build out, well, obviously they need to work with either myself or my team in order to get that service or to purchase that service. So that would be a consultative business or an application type of business. Again, anytime somebody is applying to do business with you or they are working with you and talking to you, that would be what I would call a consultative business. So it's important to take a look at that as you are building out your customer journey and then your sales pipeline stages. Another very critical part to building out your sales pipeline stages is taking a look at the CRM and the software that your business is using in order to track a lead through their stages of becoming a customer and a hopefully repeat customer with you. You'll want to be able to keep your sales pipeline stages visible, actionable, and easy to understand. In a lot of consultative types of businesses, you're going to have stages in your sales pipeline that look like this. New lead needs to whatever the next stage. So if I want them to book an appointment, then it would be new lead needs to schedule. Now, as soon as that person takes that next action, then it's scheduled needs to show up. So again, it's taking somebody from that brand new lead and what does it take in order for them to become a customer, and what are the possible fallout points within that. So new lead needs to schedule is going to see a set of emails, text messages that are going to encourage them and provide them with a link to be able to schedule. If the stage that we're referencing is that they scheduled needs to show up, then all of our messaging is going to be getting them to show up on time for their appointment, so on and so forth. Now, you can always ask the question through each of these stages, what happens if they don't do what I want them to do? Great, and that's where we create an additional stage that they can go into if they don't proceed along through our sales pipeline. Finally, I would always include in your visual pipeline a place for business that has been won or they've purchased through there. That's a great way to keep track of your sales and to create metrics that are helpful to you. I would also include a stage that is not a right fit. So again, not everybody that engages with our brand is going to be a right fit. Inside of not a right fit, I want you to remember that just because they're not a right fit right now doesn't mean that they will never be a right fit. So it's important to include things like a long-term nurture strategy that helps create the opportunity for that lead to become your ideal customer. Inside of your sales pipeline, as you are going through and automating different stages of your sales pipeline, it's important to also keep track within there of who's responsible on the team for what and what do they need to see in order to help the customer be successful and for them to be successful in their role. A big issue that I see a lot of businesses fall into is that they require their salespeople to also build out their own sales pipelines. What this does is creates an unfair environment for your salesperson wherein they are now moving into a role of being an implementer, where instead, if you could go through and create the sales pipeline stages and create a lot of that marketing and messaging that your leads need to see in order to become a customer, what that's going to do is it just alleviates the opportunity for leads to fall out of the pipeline and never become customers. Additionally, it also makes for a very happy sales team, and a happy sales team generally sells more. As always, I want to remind you that as you're building out your sales pipeline, I want you to keep it simple. Simple doesn't necessarily mean it's all easy to implement or that it's an easy process, but what it does mean is that you've taken all of the different stages and you've created a cohesive, harmonious sales pipeline that works together so that your leads can become customers if they're the right fit, and then nurtures the leads that maybe aren't the right fit right now so that they can become customers down the road. As always, simplicity scales and complexity fails. If you want to learn more about how I go through and map out customer journeys and sales pipelines, then I want you to check out this video here. It has lots of resources for you, and I'm excited to see you over there.